I have been every voice.
You are the chosen one! Anakin! Anakin!
This is where the fun begins.
Inside your head.
Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be speaking about the Ahsoka Tano series. We've also got news for the Mandalorian Season 3 and more. As always my dear friends, before I dive into the news, please may I ask you to hit that big red subscribe button if you've not done so already, and also be sure to give that bell a good old tickle to be alerted each and every time that I post new content. So as we say around these parts, without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. We begin with some mega awesome news for the Ahsoka Tano series. Corey from KMT has leaked the official synopsis for the show. He did so on Twitter and it is as follows. Ahsoka Tano is on the hunt for the evil Grand Admiral Thrawn in the hope that it will help her locate the missing Ezra Bridger, the young Jedi that disappeared with Thrawn many years ago. In the closing moments of the Rebels series finale, Ahsoka and Sabine Wren embarked on a mission to find Ezra after the young Force user was seemingly sucked into a wormhole during his battle with Thrawn. Now, as I say often on the channel, take everything with a grain of salt because of course there is a chance that this description is simply an educated guess from Corey's behalf and it might not be official. Hopefully though it is legit. So in light of the Bad Batch and all of the hype for that show, as well as the leaks for Obi Wan Kenobi, I think the Ahsoka Tano series has been somewhat forgotten in the meantime. So I guess it is really exciting that we finally have some news for this show, but we did also have the fact that Mena Massoud is rumoured to be playing Ezra. And also don't forget guys, it's going to be the first live action appearance for Sabine Wren. So before I move on, I will ask you, are you looking forward to the Ahsoka Tano series, or are you looking more forward to the Mandalorian Season 3? Let me know in the comments and let's move on to our next article. So if you guys remember a couple of months ago, Katee Sackhoff said that she wasn't sure if Bo-Katan would appear in the Mandalorian Season 3 because she hadn't been contacted yet. All of us knew that she would though, and she's finally confirmed that she will return. Let's get into this article. Over the course of her career, actress Katee Sackhoff has become something of sci-fi royalty. Perhaps best known for her role as Cara Starbuck Thrace on Battlestar Galactica, Sackhoff voiced Mandalorian warrior Bo-Katan in the Clone Wars and Rebels, and now she's brought her into live action in the Mandalorian Season 2. 2 days ago, Katee Sackhoff spoke to Looper and confirmed that there's a lot more to Bo-Katan's story to tell. Star Wars fans have definitely not seen the last of her and the Night Owls, so speaking about what's next for the live-action version of Bo-Katan Kryze, Sackhoff said the following: "I think that she's a warrior at heart, that's who she is, that's who she's always been, and we haven't seen the best part of her yet. I want to see why she thinks she's the rightful ruler and how far she'll go and what that looks like. Just because you think you're right and just because you think you're the right person to rule doesn't mean you actually are. So I want to see that struggle because if she really does care about her people, she may not be the right person." In that very same interview, Katee Sackhoff gushed about working with Din Djarin actor Pedro Pascal, and this is what she shared. "If he were to show up and not give you a performance inside the helmet, you'd be like, well, that didn't work. Because when he is there, it changes the performances around him exponentially because he knows the character so well." At this time, Pedro Pascal is the only other confirmed actor for the Mandalorian Season 3. However, given what we know about Mandalorian spin-offs Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic and the Book of Boba Fett, it seems like fan favourites from Seasons 1 and 2 will return for the third season. We've spoken a lot on my channel about Katee Sackhoff and specifically Bo-Katan and her role in the Mandalorian Season 3, and it does seem like she will be a sort of antagonist to Din Djarin, unless she just accepts that he is the rightful ruler of Mandalore. I really do believe that the tone is going to be darker for Season 3. It'll probably be more fast-paced and the dynamic between them will have a lot of tension. What do you guys make of all of this? I know when I've asked in the past, a lot of you have stated that you really didn't like Bo-Katan in the Mandalorian Season 2. I completely understand that, and I think it's deliberate on the part of Dave Filoni. Now, my dear friends, that's not the only piece of Mandalorian news I have for you, because apparently an important Mandalorian is going to appear in the Book of Boba Fett. As we all know, the Book of Boba arrives later this year, and we know almost nothing about it, but a new report suggests that Din Djarin is going to appear in the show. The series has just about wrapped up filming, and details on the story have been ridiculously tight. That said, it's been reported that one other familiar face is going to appear, none other than Pedro Pascal's Din Djarin. In many ways, this shouldn't be too surprising because both Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau mentioned that the Book of Boba is the next chapter in the Mandalorian story. And it's also going to set up the Mandalorian Season 3 quite nicely. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. So now, guys and gals and all of my Star Wars pals, let's talk about a really interesting fact to do with Obi Wan and the prequels. He was almost much older than we saw him in episodes 1, 2 and 3. With just over 4 decades of film, TV, video games, comic books and novels to its name, the Star Wars franchise has shown that there's always room for change. Even before the first film in the series was released, ideas were being tossed around, some so strange that they didn't even make it to air. Years later, when the prequels were being developed, George Lucas and concept artist Ian McCraig had things down to a science, but that still didn't stop some crazy concepts from slipping through. During the early work on The Phantom Menace, the two creators attempted to figure out how certain characters from the original trilogy would look when they appeared in the prequels, with one of the most important being Obi Wan Kenobi, who appeared as an older man in A New Hope through Alec Guinness. In the theatrical release of The Phantom Menace, as we see, Obi-Wan, as portrayed by Ewan McGregor, is the Padawan of Qui-Gon Jinn, a Cavalier Jedi who brings in Anakin Skywalker to be trained as a Jedi. But at one point in the concept art stage, Obi-Wan was meant to be Qui-Gon Jinn's master. As McCraig explains, in The Art of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Lucas played around with having an older Obi-Wan Kenobi after Qui-Gon was created. The idea was to make Qui-Gon the apprentice, and McCraig even put together a concept design for Lucas to see how the Jedi would look when compared to his first appearance. The final result appeared like a younger version of original Obi-Wan actor Alec Guinness, with 2 braids coming from the top of his head with no facial hair. Had the movie continued on that course, Obi-Wan's life would have been altered drastically. Of course, in The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon dies at the hands of Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan was to take over Anakin's training. But if it were reversed, and Qui-Gon died with Obi-Wan as his master, Anakin would have immediately filled the void, putting Qui-Gon's massive impact on the saga in question. In the end, a younger Kenobi worked better because of the immense responsibility he felt in taking care of Skywalker while he himself was still learning. Changing Obi-Wan's age would have also pushed forward the events of Revenge of the Sith. As it stands, there are 19 years between the events of Episode 3 and 4, but an older Obi-Wan throws that timeline for a loop. Either the Jedi was going to be much older come the events of Episode 4, or characters like Luke and Leia were going to be a lot younger. Star Wars has proven repeatedly that things don't always have to stay the way that they started. And while it's often entertaining to see the possibilities presented, more times than not the idea that would have worked best is the one that ended up appearing on screen. A perfect example of this is Return of the Jedi, where Luke was originally going to take Vader's helmet and put it on, and he would have declared himself the new Vader. I made this the other day in animated form, so do go check that out. But I turn it over to you guys. What would you have made of an older Obi-Wan who was the master of Qui-Gon Jinn before George Lucas decided to reverse it and have Qui-Gon as the master? I personally believe that Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan works perfectly the way it does, with him starting as a Padawan and eventually becoming the master of Anakin Skywalker. So that, my Megalorians, is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, do all of that good stuff down below, and also check out yesterday's video where we talked about Qui-Gon Jinn, who could be confirmed to be in the Obi Wan Kenobi series. I also want to take this opportunity to remind you that we're almost at 60k subs, and I will be doing a 60,000 subscriber special when the time comes, hopefully very soon, and maybe even within the next week. I still haven't decided if it's going to be a Q&A or a docu-style video, but I will keep you guys in the know over here and also over on my community page. So thank you all for watching, and also please be sure to check out my Patreon, where for just $2 or $10 a month you get exclusive access to content that's not found here on YouTube. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you all a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.